All right, I'm going to show you one of my favorite functions, and it's called keep only or exclude, right? And it's a very, very simple premise, right? So let's have a look here. In our previous example, we had just a simple table, and I had filters. But let's say I get rid of these filters, okay? There's another way you can play around with your data, and I tend to do this during deep dives. So let's say I started off with the information like this, and I want to dig deep into the information, right? I'm interested in a certain thing. So for example, I'm only interested in central. I can actually click on this with the mouse and hover, and you can see this little menu came out. And if I move it, it'll disappear. To get it back, you can just hover over where you selected, and it'll come back again. Or what you can do, you can right click directly and you'll see this keep only and exclude. The only reason I don't use this second method is because once we get to the cloud, this option of right clicking is no longer available. So it's good to develop your practice now so that when you get to the cloud, you get used to this idea of just hovering over data, right? Which does take a while to get used to, but when you do get used to it, it's actually very efficient, right? So let's say I'm only interested in central. I can click on central and go keep only. And what happens? All right, let's go back to the sheet. What you'll notice is a filter has now been created. Okay, actually, let me do this here in the sheet and it probably will make more sense. Let's get rid of these filters. Okay, I'm only interested in central, right? And you can see there's no filter here. So if I click here and go keep only, it creates a filter for central. Conversely, let's say I get rid of this again. If I click on this and go exclude, it does the opposite. It now filters for the others. Okay, so it removes that from my data set, right, or from my display, not my data set, but from my visualization. So what does this mean? Well, in deep dives, this is extremely helpful. So let's do an example. I'm interested in central. All right, keep only. Let's expand the region. I'm only interested in these two, which are quite large. I got a number of options. I can click on the heading, hold control, click on that one, or I can do a box on the data. A lot of people try and do a box out here, right? Right, they'll try and do it. It doesn't work. You have to highlight something within here. So I usually do like a few millimeters inside the area. So for example, like so, okay? So you can see it highlights, and I can keep anything I want. So let's say I want to exclude this from my analysis. I can do that too. So I do a box, I go exclude. You can see it's not included. Now doing this in Excel in a pivot table is a pain in the beep, right? In Tableau, you can just highlight and exclude whatever you need. And you can bring it back and forth, right? Because this exclusion thing is generating. Every time you do an action here, it adds into here. So if I open this up, you can see that it's including or excluding those filters, right? In this case, it's excluding, right? And if we want to bring it back, or bring them all back, we just get rid of this filter. That's it, right? And we can do that as many times as we want. So let's say I'm interested in France and Germany. I can do a box around here and go keep only, right? And I'm interested in these really high ones actually. So let's say technology I'm interested in. So I can click individual boxes by holding control like that. I can go keep only. And now I can expand technology. All right, what's in technology? Accessories, copiers, machines, and phones, right? Let's expand this again. Let's go country. All right, here we go. Now I'm noticing two really high spikes. This one and this one, okay? So if we highlight those two just by holding control, again, I can do keep only, right? So now I'm getting deeper and deeper into my data. To do this type of filtering in Excel does take a little bit of skill, right? Whereas in Tableau, it's just, we're just clicking here. We haven't even used any formulas or anything. It's doing it for us. And the best part is it's actually tracking what we're doing. So let's say we're now down to our highest, let's say copiers. Okay, we go keep only. We're down to our data. And now we can do whatever we need to. We can speak to someone, say, hey, what's going on in Ile-de-France, North Rhine-Westphalia, right? What's going on over there, or something good, or we can have a discussion, whatever it might be. Now, a question I get a lot from people is, all right, now that I've got it like this, how can I send it to someone? Well, you got a few options. You can take a screenshot, right, using the screenshot on your keyboard. You can go worksheet, export, image, right? And then it'll export it as an image. I think it's going to come out in Microsoft Paint. So let's try that, right? So PNG, yeah. So let's save sheet 1. And if I go into my downloads, let's see how it looks. All right, let's go date modified. Here we go. And we got our graphics. Now, this little thing here at the bottom is just a summary of what you've actually done. And that's more for tracking and record keeping. So in case someone goes, how did you get that? If you already know your data set, you know that these are your filtering. So I'm not going to go through this too much, but everything you need to know is in there in terms of filtering. All right, so that's one option. The other option is I can go dashboard worksheet, copy image, right? Sorry, not copy image, right? No, it is right. Copy image, right? And that will put it onto my clipboard. Now I can paste it anywhere I want, right? So I can paste it like that, right? There's another option you can have, which is to put it into Excel without having to do any kind of complicated exports. If you go worksheet export, cross tab to Excel, right? That's going to open a file, right? As you can see here. Now, one little warning, sometimes when you press that, it looks like nothing's happened. And that's only because the file that generates doesn't pop up, but it's actually there, right? And if you have a lot of data, it does take a little bit of time because it's printing one cell at a time. So you'll see your mouse flicker. It hasn't crashed, but it is just trying to print every data point. Okay, so from here I can copy this. Once it's in Excel, I can pretty much do whatever I want, right? Okay, so that's another option, right? And then you can also do, you know, your standards like exporting to PDF and so on and so forth, right? So that's a little basic keep only and exclude with a table. I'll show you how it works with a map or a bar chart. It's the exact same concept. So let's do a new sheet. I'm going to do category and let's do sales like so. So we now have a bar chart and let's expand this so we have quite a bit of them, right? Here we go. And let's add a bit of color because I'm feeling colorful. And let's sort it highest to lowest. And let's make this maybe red and green. We haven't really done that before. Okay, and let's say I'm doing this analysis. I'm not really interested in the ones that are doing well. So let's select those. I can do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, right? I can select them individually. Again, I can hover. So I don't have to click it. I just make sure I don't move it. A lot of newbies, like they try and be fast with it. So you just got to be patient, right? We go like that and we go exclude. Now we're down to our data set. Let's try it with a map and then we'll cut it there. So let's go new worksheet. So our map is, let's double click city, right? I tend to actually really enjoy the map method, right? Because sometimes I'll be doing like regions or something. So let's say I do drop regions into color. I can see my regions and I want to cut things in and out. In this case, the only difference is the tool that you use to actually make the selection. So I can use the lasso, let's say, and I want to get rid of these ones that seem too far out. So go like this and I can just go exclude. All right, so that's no longer included. Or if, let's say, I'm only interested in a very, very specific location, let's say anything in this area here, I can use the radial one and do something like this. All right, so I've selected the middle ones, keep only. Okay, there you go. So a number of options you can have. Again, you can use this in the cloud as well when we get to it. The behavior is a little bit different because in desktop mode, when you do keep only exclude, Tableau thinks it's part of the design, which is why it's including it permanently in your filters. When we get to the cloud, it thinks of it more as an interaction. So you can apply as many filters as you want. And at the very top, there's a revert button. So it resets your page. So you can do however many analysis that you want, right? But we will get to that when we get to that section. For now, that's keep only and exclude. I hope you enjoyed and I'll see you next time.